What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to Chris Wrestling Views, back again with another WWE Raw review. So, of course, we had Cena end up coming out, for their third week in a row. Before he could even say anything to the crowd or about anybody, Cody Rhodes' song immediately got ready to play. And, of course, Cody ends up coming down, and the crowd was, Cody Rhodes, and, y'all get the gist of what I'm talking about. So, of course, Cody Rhodes, he come out, get a very loud pop and a very loud cheer and, Let's Go Cody thing and all, etc. We got like some Let's Go Cena suck chants as well. And it was just wild. Cody ends up coming out telling Cena, Cody was like Cena's chauffeur, so on and so forth. And John Cena was like, Cody Rhodes, is just, another, is just his chauffeur. And he's saying that Cody Rhodes pretty much leached off him and saying that Cody Rhodes, while Cena was building empires, Cody Rhodes was up there stealing money from kids' pockets, pretty much like an AEW Tony Khan type reference or whatever. And so it was pretty wild, actually, you guys. And John Cena, he had a lot of stuff to say. I wish I could say it on YouTube, but I don't want to get my video removed. But then again, because I know any little thing strikes YouTube. But John Cena and Cody Rhodes, they looked like they were going to go ahead and take one good little brawl, but I feel like they'll do it before WrestleMania. Cody Rhodes ended up getting John Cena for the Crossroads, and I was like, oh wow, I thought Cena was gonna reverse it into like a attitude adjustment or something like that, but I think he will probably next week or, well, no, because I don't think John Cena's gonna be back for a couple of weeks because he's been straight on Raw for the past 3 weeks now. So I think he'll be off TV until maybe like the week before, like the week of WrestleMania. So I can't wait. We got 19 days left, y'all. Y'all make sure y'all and staying up to date on all this wrestling news and gossip. So first match of the night, we had Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate, the new No Catch Republic. I can't remember what the dang team name is, but they were pretty much the natives out of the, out of London, England. Of course, on Pretty Deadly, they lost their match too. But anyways, we already knew New Day was going to actually win this match. And yeah, it was crazy. And Pete Dunne actually took the pin and everything. And the New Day, they were celebrating their victory, and they were asked by Kathy Kelly, about, if they're ready to, fight for the tag team championship. Do they feel like they've done enough? And then, of course, the Volume Raker song came out, played, and they came out and just do like a little stare off. Of course, Liquid Kaiser had like a part in the show where he was like, Adam Pearce isn't helping him get the lights to WrestleMania. If he does, he's going to take it into his own hands. Now, speaking of taking it into their own hands, Gunther ended up demolishing, you guys. We already felt that coming. He came out and demolished Jimmy Uso. Like, he beat him in a match, but at the same time, after match, it got even worse to where he bloodied this man, where he took his World Heavyweight Championship belt and clocked him right side of the head and had him falling, off the thing. We did get a glitch of Jey Uso's thing, and the crowd looked like, dang, they got Jey Uso's screen thing up there, but he hasn't come out. But as Gunther got ready, as Gunther was putting Jey to sleep the second time, and then, of course, that's when the thing came up. So pretty much WWE kind of botched the idea, and the cameraman ended up catching it as well. So it was pretty crazy. Gunther ended up hightailing it out of there. Of course, we get Rio. She's like one of the indie wrestlers that's playing like an on-screen medical personnel. You see her with the purple braids in black, of course, as well. And then Gunther ends up making his return back and attacking both Jimmy and Jey from behind with like a back of the head like clothesline. And then through Jey, of course, to the steel steps. And then he powerbombed some security guards and all that good stuff. And then he ended up zip tying Jey to the rope, watching his brother get beat down to a pulp. And that was pretty crazy of how how they actually did that, of course, and we know they had Jimmy on the side over there, so kayfabe purposes, you already know what happened. But the way how you actually visualize it, you like, dang. But it was pretty crazy, you guys. I have to say the least. One of the craziest moments of the night, I would have to say. But Jay, you better crash out now. Otherwise, I mean, you won't. I don't know what to say, man. But I feel like Jay is definitely gonna crash out. But we'll definitely see how this is actually gonna happen. Gunther stands tall, holding his World Heavyweight Championship. Of course, we have Wade Barrett from Friday Night SmackDown to come over to Monday Night Raw. He's one of the Englishman voices of London. So, of course, he was there, and we thank him for being there as well. So, it's going to be a very interesting WrestleMania coming up. Of course, we, seeing that who's going to be in the Hall of Fame this year, of course. Looks pretty cool. Now, it was confirmed that 100% there's going to be Roman Reigns versus CM Punk versus Seth Rollins on WrestleMania Saturday, which is going to be on night one, which is, I think it's April 19th, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. Of course, we end up getting a backstage segment, you guys, with Finn Balor. Well, pretty much the Judgment Day. And Finn Balor making a reference, to making a reference pretty much about the Intercontinental Championship match. Talking about he's gonna win the Intercontinental Championship by defeating Braun Breaker and so on and so forth. But they end up winning the tag match. It was kind of crazy because Finn Balor got the pin over Penta, and I was like, well, dang. I was like, WWE, like this, this sucked. Like you brought Penta in, having to face a couple of people, and then he gets ready to fight Finn Balor, and then he gets pinned. I guess WWE feel bad for Finn Balor because he got beat each and every week and crashing out and stuff like that. And of course, Liv Morgan didn't like what Finn Balor said, and so she had to tell Dominic about it. And of course, you see right here, also where, what's her face, looks like they're wanting to go out that tag gold. Maxine Dupree and what's her name? Yeah, it looks like Maxine Dupree and Natalia. She said Natalia wanted to, be like a tag team with her or something like that. She was telling Adam Pearce. Of course, this part I was talking about with Dominic Mysterio, pretty much he was back there, listening to what Liv Morgan had to say. Of course, it kind of supposed to be where Logan Paul come out first and calls out AJ Styles, but AJ Styles made it to the ring first, and it's kind of wishy-washy, kind of flip-floppy-ish like thing, you guys, where Logan Paul is supposed to have called out AJ Styles, and Logan Paul didn't call out AJ Styles. AJ Styles called out Logan Paul. Logan Paul not even there on 1 week. It's kind of like flip-flop, but of course, Logan Paul said he doesn't fight for free. He wants to pretty much fight AJ Styles at WrestleMania. Of course, we're going to get El Grande Americano returns to action next week on Monday Night Raw in Chad Gable's hometown of Minneapolis, Minnesota. And Chad Gable said he pretty much still can, wrestle, of course, to doctor orders, and he thinking he's going to be okay next week. But, of course, he won't. And Adam Pearce said he got to follow the doctor orders. As you can see, Bianca Belair, she was getting ready for to referee the Io Sky versus Rhea Ripley Women's World Heavyweight Championship match. Of course, the match was I would say this was maybe the best match of the night, actually, between Rhea Ripley and Io Sky. And with that being said, you guys, it was like a fighter fest type match. Bianca ends up, she did a pretty good job at refereeing, I would have to say. But, couldn't make that long term for Bianca. Bianca, like, she looked it strong out there. As a referee, I was like, God dang, I was like, that's wild. But of course we got Bianca Belair, she was, making sure everything was good. She ended up getting booted in the face by Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley did a spot to where it was like a Samoan drop from the top rope on Io Sky, and I was like, God dang. Of course Rhea Ripley tried to go for the pin. She did so many moves like the riptide and a knee strike and all that stuff, and thought she was going to be able to pick up the pin over Io Sky. But of course she remembered that Bianca Belair was on the outside, where of course she got kicked by Rhea Ripley, And so it was like crazy, and Bianca called off the match, and then ended up brawling. And then Bianca Belair ends up attacking Io Sky, so on and so forth. It was like a big brawl, and at the end, Rhea Ripley ended up pulling the hair of Bianca, and pretty much got her up on the top rope, hit a riptide, and that pretty much closed the show. So it more so looks like this match, of course, with like a blind man can see this, that they're trying to make this thing a triple threat match. But we're definitely going to see what's going to happen, you guys. Like, comment, subscribe to Chris Russell Videos here on YouTube.com. Till next time, I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace, salute, and have a great night. And I'll see you guys the next time I do another video. Maybe it's some news. Let me know what you guys want to see.